the dark veins of America's highways, speed isn't just a number. It's a language of defiance. When the sirens ignite and red lights cut through the black, the chase becomes a silent war between power and precision. Troopers push steel to its limits, but some drivers move like ghosts, untouchable, unshakable, and unafraid. These are not adrenaline junkies. They're masters of the wheel. Tonight, we follow 6 nights when cops realized too late they were chasing professionals. Number 1, the vanishing Corvette.
Morning, I just wrecked out. 30 eastbound, 1214.
Little Rock, Arkansas. The night was still until a Corvette C6 carved through the highway like a silver streak of defiance. Troopers were already on edge. It had slipped past 3 units without a trace. By the time another cruiser locked on, the chase was already at full throttle, 135 to 140 miles per hour, a blur of asphalt, headlights, and danger. The Corvette wasn't running. It was performing. Every lane change was deliberate, every turn a display of nerve and control that felt mechanical, not human.
Yeah, we're getting on 30. It's going to be stand by for that 28. Negative. We just got into destruction. Hang on.
The state police scrambled to close the distance, radios crackling with tension. Construction barrels flashed by as the Corvette threaded through them with impossible precision, dancing through death at 120 miles per hour. It wasn't luck that kept him alive. It was a calculation. When he darted left to overtake a car, the trooper reacted half a second too late. That was all it took. The cruiser clipped a barrel, metal screeched, and the car slammed into a civilian vehicle. The chase ended in chaos.
Go left in there.
Morning, I just wrecked out. 30 eastbound, 1214.
In the smoking aftermath, troopers searched the horizon, waiting for a glimpse of taillights. There were none. The Corvette had vanished into the night. The couple in the wrecked car survived, but the highway was left littered with debris, a scene of flashing blues and broken glass, the smell of burnt rubber in the air. Somewhere ahead, a driver sat behind the wheel of a C6, heart steady, mind cold, engine humming like a secret weapon.
Hi. Roll the window down. Are y'all okay? You okay? Alright. Yeah, I was trying to catch up to him. I was in pursuit of him, so. Alright. Are y'all hurt anywhere? Okay. Morning, Clock Central, they're saying they're not in.
The department logged the incident as another failed pursuit, but whispers spread fast. This wasn't the first time a Corvette had slipped through the Arkansas net. Each time, it appeared out of nowhere, outran the best, and disappeared again. No spike strips, no traps, no IDs. Just the echo of an engine that taunted the troopers who chased it. For the men who wear the badge, it wasn't just another failed stop. It was personal. Every pursuit left behind a mark of humiliation and respect. They weren't chasing a reckless driver. They were chasing a craftsman of the road, someone who understood fear, speed, and the fragile edge between both. That night, under the flicker of broken lights, the realization settled in. They hadn't lost the chase. They had faced a professional who never intended to be caught. Case number 2, Challenger Drift Showdown. November 24, 2023. A chilly night in Little Rock turned electric when Trooper Blaine Lucas pulled over a Dodge Challenger for an unreadable temporary plate. It was supposed to be routine, but the instant his boots hit the pavement, the Challenger roared alive. Tires screamed, the rear end fishtailed, and in one motion, the car slid sideways into a perfect drift before launching forward like a missile. Within seconds, the radar read 140 miles per hour and rising.
2024.
The muscle car tore down a 630 like it owned the asphalt. The engine's growl echoed between overpasses, rattling every window it passed. Lucas barely had time to react. He hit the sirens, radioed for backup, and pushed his cruiser into overdrive. But at these speeds, even the air felt hostile. Wind resistance screamed against the car, every vibration hinting that one wrong touch could mean disaster. The Challenger, on the other hand, moved like it was built for chaos.
Shut up!
It weaved through lanes, sliced past cars with inches to spare, and left a hurricane of flashing lights in its wake. The pursuit bled from highway to city streets, where traffic lights blurred into streaks of color. Civilians hit their brakes in panic, headlights swerving out of the way as the Challenger ripped through intersections with a precision that felt practiced. Every corner it took was deliberate, every throttle press controlled. Moments later, the driver shot back onto I-30, now completely in command of the night. Lucas's cruiser struggled to close the gap. The trooper's heart pounded, his voice tight over the radio, trying to steady his grip while the chase reached deadly velocity. Ahead, the Challenger curved into a sharp turn at 120 miles per hour, something no regular driver should survive. But it held. Perfectly.
Getting on 30 eastbound.
Getting on 30.
Back at headquarters, the footage became legend. The way it drifted, the way it moved, it wasn't panic driving. It was performance art. That night, troopers learned the terrifying truth. They weren't chasing thrill seekers. They were chasing professionals who knew exactly how to make the law lose control. Case 3, the Red Ghost Camaro.
This one on the left shoulder. He's trying to get around these big trucks. They're trying to hold him up.
October 20th, 2022. The same red Chevy Camaro that humiliated Arkansas troopers a week earlier was back on I-30, bold enough to show its colors again. Trooper Thomas Hubert caught it on radar, fictitious tags flashing under the streetlights. He knew the car. He knew the story. This time, he swore it wouldn't vanish. But when the Camaro's brake lights flared, it wasn't slowing down. It was taunting him. In seconds, it was gone, roaring into the black stretch ahead. Hubbard engaged pursuit, tires clawing at the asphalt. Speeds climbed past 130. Radios filled with clipped reports, and adrenaline turned minutes into blinks. The Camaro wasn't just fast, it was calculating. It threaded between semis, brushed highway shoulders, and skimmed mirrors without a single skid. Every turn of the wheel was instinctual, almost rehearsed. Hubert stayed on him, but the gap never closed. The red glow ahead teased him like a phantom, always just out of reach. As traffic thickened, Hubert's options vanished. The Camaro sliced between two trucks in a move so tight the dashcam caught sparks, then reappeared yards ahead. The cruiser couldn't follow. The weight difference was lethal at that speed. One wrong turn, and the patrol car would flip. Hubert held on, fighting to keep control, his view framed by endless red taillights vanishing into the horizon. Radio chatter built to panic. Every officer on the channel knew what they were chasing. An untouchable ghost from a week before, the same driver who'd embarrassed them. The Camaro moved like it could see 3 steps ahead. No hesitation, no chaos, just pure control. Hubbard tried to predict his next move, but prediction meant nothing when the opponent didn't make mistakes.
It's going on the left shoulder. He's trying to get around these big trucks. They're trying to hold him up.
For the Arkansas State Police, it wasn't just another failed pursuit. It was personal humiliation captured in high definition. The body cam footage showed skill so fluid it defied reason. A driver who turned the highway into his private racetrack. From that night forward, troopers called it the Red Ghost. Because every time they thought they had him, he simply disappeared, leaving nothing but the echo of an engine and the sting of defeat. Case 4, the GTR Phantom. On a humid night along Georgia 400, 2 cars lined up side by side, a Dodge Charger and a Nissan GTR. To passing traffic, it looked like casual racing bravado. But when the blue lights erupted behind them, the game turned into war. The trooper picked his target, the GTR, unaware that he was chasing a machine built for the impossible. Under the hood roared 800 horsepower, and behind the wheel sat a driver who understood every inch of speed.
Right, and he's exhibiting the normal characteristics you'd expect from somebody who's got a lot of adrenaline. They're really pumping it.
When the sirens pierced the night, the GTR didn't panic. It simply transformed. Tires bit into the concrete, the twin-turbo engine screamed, and in the blink of an eye, it was hitting 175 miles per hour. The radio calls blurred highway markers, exits, speeds, all meaningless against a streak of white lightning disappearing into the distance. Every maneuver was flawless. The GTR shifted lanes like it was slicing through time itself, untouchable and terrifyingly smooth.
Usually with these types of cases, they end up going to a neighborhood or an area they're familiar with. Of course, at this point, we don't know where he's going. Maybe he doesn't know where he's going.
The trooper tried to close in, pushing his cruiser into dangerous territory. The car trembled, the tires shrieked, the risk multiplied. Still, he stayed locked in, unwilling to let go. The chase flew through Atlanta's arteries, Buford Highway, Cortland, and the HOV ramp. Each curve tighter, each second louder. The GTR danced through the chaos, weaving through headlights, slicing between vehicles with inches to spare.
He's flying off that. You see that car diving out of the way there. He's going to go straight through that street and continue now on this.
All right, Gil.
At one point, the trooper lined up for a pit attempt, his bumper trembling just feet from the target. But the GTR swerved toward the wall, cutting off the angle with chilling precision. A single miscalculation, and both cars would have become twisted wrecks of fire. The officer backed off, his heart pounding through his vest, watching the taillights pull away once again. Number 5, the Infiniti Mirage. April 15, 2023. The interstate was quiet when Trooper Billy Martin spotted an Infiniti G37 slicing through traffic like a blade through silk. The radar flashed triple digits before he even hit his siren. Within seconds, the Infiniti roared past the limit, its taillights carving red trails into the night sky. The trooper flipped his lights on, but the suspect didn't flinch. What followed wasn't a chase, it was a display. The kind that turns officers into spectators and the highway into a stage.
B102. East Drive Rick. 23 to 4, you want to cross state lines on this one?
Martin's cruiser surged forward, the speedometer climbing past 150. The pursuit tore through the empty lanes, headlights bending through curves as the Infiniti danced with danger. Every move was deliberate. When semis clogged the right lane, The driver threaded through the narrow space between them with surgical precision. The G37 was heavy but agile, moving with a rhythm that felt orchestrated. It wasn't running from the police. It was outpacing them with style.
45 right now. I'm at 140. Had the 283 pass on.
Behind the wheel, Martin fought the wheel's vibration. The cruiser, built for endurance, wasn't meant to play this kind of game. Each second, he risked control every bounce on the pavement, a reminder that death travels fast at 160. Still, he pressed on, voice tight over the radio, calling updates between bursts of static. Ahead, the Infinity sliced through another wave of cars, the red tail lights stretching thinner until they vanished into the darkness.
25%. Right across the Tennessee. People, what do you have on? Go ahead and stay with it until we can get Tennessee involved.
Moments later, the driver made a move no one expected. Without warning, the G37 swung into a violent U-turn straight into oncoming traffic. Headlights flared, horns screamed, chaos erupted. For a split second, Martin considered following, but instinct won over pride. He knew what that turn meant. It wasn't courage, it was madness. He lifted his foot off the gas, his cruiser slowing under the burden of restraint. The Infinity disappeared into the blur of opposing lights, swallowed whole by the night.
He's going the wrong way. He's going the wrong way.
RC, did you make contact with Memphis and Tennessee Highway Patrol?
I'm 22. He's going the wrong direction, running about 100 plus.
When the command called off the pursuit, the silence in Martin's car was suffocating. No arrest, no wreck, just the echo of what could have been a disaster. The footage would later be reviewed frame by frame, every reckless turn, every perfect maneuver, and the conclusion was the same. Case 6, the final Hellcat duel, in another humid Arkansas night, the kind that hums with static before something violent begins. Trooper Tanner Crossland clocked a Dodge Charger Hellcat roaring past with casual arrogance, bright lights, heavy engine, no fear. When he hit the sirens, the Charger didn't hesitate. It bolted. Within seconds, the speedometer soared past 150, headlights fading into streaks of motion. Crossland knew exactly what this was. Not a runner, a challenger. The kind who doesn't play games, he writes them.
E38 time left, 1024.
The Hellcat's engine screamed through the silence, its exhaust echoing off the overpasses. It moved like it knew every inch of the road, using the shadows and the curves to break the line of sight. Crossland's cruiser pushed past its limit, shaking under the pressure. The highway lights stretched into golden ribbons, the world reduced to blur and noise. For 10 minutes, both machines existed in a vacuum of speed, one hunting, one fleeing, neither willing to stop.
We're approaching the 28.
Bravo 830, 810-4.
Speed's 134. Could be a black Charger, RT.
Suddenly, the Hellcat cut its lights. Darkness swallowed it whole. The trooper saw nothing but faint tire sparks ahead. A brake check followed a violent, deliberate. Crossland swerved, barely avoiding a collision. The Hellcat darted off-road, tires exploding through dirt. But physics caught up. One tire shredded instantly, sparks shot from the rim, and the car's speed bled away.
38 pound love. He's pulling out ahead of me. I think he's got the Charger RT model. Traffic's giving me trouble.
Crossland took the opening. He called for backup, circled wide, and matched the Hellcat's broken rhythm. The chase snaked through local streets, Marketplace, Highway 5, Woody Drive, each name forever etched into another page of Arkansas pursuit history. The driver was desperate now, his wounded car limping, headlights flickering like a dying animal. Crossland closed in, voice steady, pulse cold. When the moment came, he turned the wheel, executed a perfect pit maneuver, and ended it. The driver was pulled from the wreck, check sweat, fear, and defeat mixing under the flashing lights. Another self-proclaimed racer undone by arrogance. But for Crossland, it wasn't a triumph. It was confirmation. These weren't amateurs anymore. These were professional drivers who studied law enforcement patterns, road layouts, and mechanical limits. That night, under a haze of smoke and flashing blue, the truth was undeniable. The streets had evolved, and the cops were no longer chasing criminals. They were chasing legends,